Sixth lecture on compositional aspect by Krasimir Kabak-Sivred at the 17th Annual International Conference on Languages and Linguistics, 8 to 11 July 2024, Ottener, Athens Institute for Education and Research, Greece.
Of Krasimir Kabak.
Never mind.
Sorry. He comes from Bulgaria, no? Or Bulgaria, okay. He's independent researcher, and he will speak about Romance languages, and you can explain a little bit more because it's not very easy for me. Thank you. You have 15 minutes.
Yes. Last year I was asked by Athena to make a special session, and I thought, and I decided that it should be a TAM session, tense aspect modality session. I shouldn't explain to you what tense aspect modality is because you are all linguists. So this is now we are going to have this special session, 6 people. And then the general conference continues. Well, I would like to wish you success on behalf of Athena. And I'm very happy to see so many people here from all over the world. Okay, I'm going to talk about this. This presentation is about aspect, which comes across languages in 2 disguises, verbal aspect and compositional aspect. Verbal aspect is known from Slavic languages as the perfective-imperfective contrast. For those interested in compositional aspect, my anno 2000 book, Aspect in English, published by Springer, can be a good start, still being the only book in history so far devoted to compositional aspect in English specifically. Compositional aspect is a universal language phenomenon discovered by the Dutch linguist Henk Verkel in 1971. The discovery made a huge impact on theoretical linguistics, serving as the basis for the development of the compositional aspect theory, still being sophisticated by Verkel himself and other researchers, including some working with me on Greek, Georgian, Ukrainian, Turkish, and other languages, and myself. This presentation mainly deals with Romance languages. Widespread in Romance linguistics is the thesis that grammatical perfectivity in Romance languages is aspect residing in the past and that it is carried by the preterite forms. Upheld by Romance aspectologists for dozens of decades, this is a wrong understanding of aspect. It is centered on the idea that aspect in a language must be something located in the verb, be it a lexical or a syntactic entity. Slavic-like aspect is represented by verbs that are perfective or imperfective. What is meant by Slavic-like perfectivity, the major aspect notion, is perfectivity in verbal aspect languages such as Georgian, Greek, Chinese, Romance linguistics, Chinese, full stop. Romance linguists, unfortunately, fail to understand that when aspect is not marked on verbs, it is obligatorily effectuated otherwise, which ultimately means what? It means at the sentence level or the clause level. Or in other words, in compositional aspect terms, that is, not only and solely in the verb. When is aspect not marked on the verb? This happens very often across languages. In English, in the simple past, which is omnipresent. The idea that aspect can be absent in the past tense or in some other tense or syntactic patterns is not simply wrong, it is inadequate. Suppose next to your house is a park where there are kids and cats. A kid can be seen feeding one cat. Kids can be seen feeding one cat or many cats. Now consider the following sentences in English with the NPs, the kid and the cat, that appear to be very simple, the sentences. Are they really simple? Well, let's see. So the sentences are, the kid fed the cat. This is a perfective sentence. The kid fed cats. This is an imperfective sentence, but note that the verb is the same. Fed. In all the 4 sentences, it is the same verb. Kids fed the cat, again, an imperfective sentence, and the same verb. Kids fed cats, again, imperfective sentence, the same verb. Do sentences 1 to 4 effectuate the 2 aspects? They do, despite the same verb form fed. How they effectuate aspect was explained 53 years ago by Verkel with the discovery of compositional aspect. Perfectivity and imperfectivity are the two Slavic aspectological notions illustrated here in English as a meta-language. Below they will be illustrated again. Published recently are two linguistic papers containing statements that perfectivity in the Romance languages resides only in the past, carried by the present. These publications echo dozens of other similar papers. I will not tell the names of the journal and the authors because they are absent and cannot debate. But I will describe their points and explain why they are wrong. Their major argument is that the Romance, or is in perfect contrast, passé composé in French, perfetto, semplice, in Italian, imparfait, perfetto, etc., is not equal to Slavic aspect. This is true. But Romance aspectologists fail to understand something else, which is extremely important. What these authors suggest is that the Romance languages are idiosyncratic and semantically incapacitated. But if the Romance languages had no Slavic-like aspect, translations into them from a Slavic language, where every sentence, almost every sentence or clause, contains a verb with precise aspect semantics, would be unable, these sentences would be unable to render the aspectual contrast in all texts and sentences in the future. This obviously, not only in the future but also in other conditions, this obviously cannot be true. If aspects were restricted to the domain of the past, people would be unable to communicate perfectivity with infinitives. For example, a child wants to eat a cake, the whole of it. A man wants to drink a beer from the first drop to the last. A kid wants to open the window. A woman wants to visit Paris once. Conversely, people would also be unable to say that a man wants to drink beer habitually or visit Paris regularly. The latter are imperfective situations. Not only that, speakers of Romance languages would be unable to encode aspect in the future too. Consider the table below with future verb forms. Aspect here is encoded in the future. Verbal aspect marks aspect on the verb. Compositional aspect at the sentence level with determiners, quantifiers, and quantifiers including articles. These mark temporal boundedness or non-boundedness on NPs and then map it onto the verb referent. So in English we can have the kid will feed the cat. This is in the future, we had it in the past. This is a perfective sentence. In a verbal aspect language like Ukrainian, we will have ditina, nahoduje, kota. Why is the sentence perfected? Because simply the verb is perfected. In English, the kid will feed cats. This is an imperfective sentence. Of course, the verb form is the same, but imperfectivity this time, not perfectivity as in the first sentence. And in Ukrainian, it will be ditina, budi, hoduvati, kotiv, which is an imperfective sentence. Why? Because the verb itself is imperfect. So this means that theoretically we can have an anglicized, so to say, verbal aspect language in which the verb will be perfective or imperfective, the verb form, like kid will feed cat. This language is the same as Ukrainian. Or kid will feed cats, where kid will feed cat will be perfective because the verb is perfective. Kid will feed cats will be imperfective because the verb is imperfective. But another question arises, which is very important, and it is, can we have a sentence, can we have a language in which there is no marking on verbs and NPs simultaneously? For example, kid will feed cat. Can we have such a sentence where there's no perfectivity, imperfectivity in the verb, and there are no quantifiers, etc.? Can we have such a language? In my view, this language is impossible. Because what does kid will feed cat mean? Does this mean the kid will feed the cat, the kid will feed will feed a cat, okay, once? How many times? Regularly? 5 times? We don't know. We don't know, and we will never know, because this sentence does not tell us. Kid will feed cat. What does this mean? It can mean many, many things. And if we do not have marking on both verbs and nouns, nominal, simply we cannot have such a language. Are Romance languages incapable of effectuating aspects? Do they lack quantifiers? Let's check out. So in English we have the kid will feed the cat, and in French it will be l'enfant nourrira le chat. In Portuguese, I'm not going to speak Portuguese, there's a Portuguese lecture here. The kid will feed cats, will be l'enfant nourrira des chats. The kids will feed the cat, des enfants nourriront les chats. Kids will feed cats, des enfants nourriront des chats, etc. This means French, of course, and Portuguese. French has quantifiers and articles, etc. The situation in French is a bit special, but Portuguese is actually the same as English, more or less, because there's a zero article and there are other articles and quantifiers. Of course, Romance languages feature quantifiers, including articles. So what Romance aspectologists are saying is not only false, it is a severe misconception. What is worse, some Romance linguists even label Germanic languages unable to effectuate aspect. A linguist insists that sentences 1 and 2 below in German are perfected and imperfected, respectively, because of the different semantic information in the verb stems. Erfuhr, learned, versus wusste, knew, as if these are in the Slavic language. And the first sentence is erfuhr das Resultat der Wahl vor dem Ende der Auszählung der Stimmen, which means he learned the result of the election before the end of the counting of the votes, and this is a perfective sentence, because, the author says, because we have erfuhr here, learned. And if we have wusste, das Resultat der Wahl vor dem Ende der Auszählung der Stimmen, this means he knew the result of the election, etc., and it is imperfective because we have wusste here and not the other one. As explained long ago by if not many, by several people at least, aspect resides in the sentence as a whole, not in the verb phrase. Compare these sentences to the perfective one 3 below and the imperfective 4. So we can have die Wähler in ganzem Land erfuhren von den Wahlergebnissen. This means the voters across the country learned the election result. This is a perfective sentence, clearly. And now the other sentence is von verschiedenen Fernsehsendern entfuhren Wähler im ganzen Land von Wahlergebnissen, which means from different TV channels across the country, voters learned about election results. And this is an imperfective sentence. Why? Because although it contains the same telegraph, absolutely the same verb, erfuhren, and ought to effectuate perfectivity, it is not perfective, it is imperfective. Why? Because it features non-quantified NPs, not 1, not 2, but 3. Wähler, voters, Fernsehsender, TV channels, Wahlergebnisse, election results. So aspect depends on the situation participants, or we can say it another way, on the reference of situation participants, nominal reference. This is the essence of compositional aspect. The non-boundariness of the entries is mapped onto the verb erfuhren, learned, coercing it into imperfectivity. Note that in 4, Wähler, voters, are not a group of voters standing together in the same physical space, but they reoccur one after the other on the time axis. Similarly, Fernsehsender are TV channels broadcasting one after the other in time. They're not doing this simultaneously, together, once. This is how aspect is effectuated in the future domain in both Germanic and Romance languages. In fact, there is very, very, very little difference between the effectuation of aspect in the two groups of languages. And this is no surprise, because these languages, Romance and Germanic, are genealogically very closely related, also in their grammatical systems. Something that has remained fully misunderstood in Romance linguistics for decades already. These regularities, finishing, these regularities and interdependencies were established with the discovery of compositional aspect in 1971, or soon after that. Today, half a century later, strangely, they have not reached the minds of most Romance aspectologists and of other researchers of aspect in both European and non-European languages. Conclusion. The insistence that Romance language's aspect is something residing only in the past and not realized in the future, and in various other aspectually ambivalent work forms, is a gigantic fallacy that must be done away with as soon as possible. Aspect is a universal phenomenon found in all natural languages, absolutely, systematically, of course, in various disguises. Thank you very much. These are these are the main references. Thank you for your attention, and of course, enjoy Greece. If not today, tomorrow, some other time, but do enjoy Greece. Thank you.
Thank you very much.